Hi guys, this is Amanda from GamePlay.com, here to give you my video review for Amy. Basically, it's supposed to be a survival horror game. People were pretty excited about it. There was some hype about it. I was expecting it to be pretty decent, or it had the opportunity to be decent. I didn't like it. I don't think it was a good game. It wasn't god-awful, but it was not rewarding enough. Granted, it's supposed to be a survival horror game, but I found the controls to be kind of clunky. And you're set in the near future. You're playing a woman named Lana, and she's escorting a 8-year-old autistic girl around, and it's your job to protect her and yourself. And she plays an important role in keeping you alive because somehow she has these weird mystical healing powers that stop you from getting infected. And later on, you find these weird symbols. They never explain where they come from, but if Amy draws them, that's when she can use that power. To ensure your survival, you have to be with Amy. If you stay away from her too long, there's an infection going around that turns people into zombies. Lana is also infected, and if she stays away from Amy too long, the infection will get to a higher level, and eventually she will die if she stays away from Amy too long. The game plays with this weird balance of staying away from her for certain times, and actually if your infection gets to a high enough level, you can avoid zombies because they think you're infected. So because of that, it gets kind of awkward at times, and also if you physically exert yourself, your infection will like spread faster. So compound being away from Amy, you need to go through an area quickly because you need to get back to her. You can't run too much because you'll get overly infected and then you'll die. It just gets really awkward sometimes. In addition to that, you end up feeling like you're playing a waiting game a lot. Some of the puzzles, they make you watch everything. I'm talking about if Amy they have this very weird thing where they let Amy hack into government computers. God knows how she can do that. It's a puzzle, Amy, you can do it. So they have her hacking into government computers, and it takes literally about 30 to 40 seconds. Every time she hacks into a government computer, you have to wait. In addition to that, if you're going up a ladder, there's like a sequence where the camera angle changes like 3 or 4 times. She's going on if Lana needs to leave Amy and go on a ledge, the camera angle changes like 2 or 3 times, and you have to watch her go on the ledge at like fucking snail pace. There's also, let's say you need to get somewhere, you make Amy go there, press a button, you come to another place, you press a button. It's all spatial kind of puzzles where you're picking out, oh, how do I get to this door? I have to go on this elevator. They make you watch Amy go walk, press the button. She doesn't do anything autonomously. You basically have to tell her every single time. And if you don't tell her correctly, you'll have to redo the whole puzzle over again because she'll be in a position that's not good. You just play a waiting game. It feels awkward. It's not rewarding enough to play. Especially towards some of the later levels, the gameplay gets a lot more difficult because they stick you with soldiers and zombies, and they basically make it so that if you're even seen by a zombie, you're fucked. That's it, end of game. And because the checkpoint system, they have a checkpoint system. It's supposed to be in every chapter there's a couple checkpoints, or some chapters only have one at the beginning, but it doesn't work correctly. So you could basically leave in the center of said chapter, come back after eating lunch and be like, oh, I'm ready, I'm gonna beat this bitch. No, you have to start at the beginning of the chapter. And since some of the levels, like I said, are so tedious with all the puzzles, all the kind of that balancing of being away from Amy, being with Amy, and then the whole, if the zombies see you, you're fucked. You just don't want to play. It's not rewarding enough. You struggle to survive, and it doesn't make any sense. Like, a soldier will die, and there's a gas mask there, so you use that, but you don't pick up his gun. You can't pick up his gun. You can never use his gun. And yet you're tethered to using Amy's powers, which, or your own like hiding. And by using Amy's powers, she has to draw these weird glyphs that they never explain where they come from. They're like these symbols. They're written on the wall, the floor, a locker, the most random places. And she has to draw them, that's how she gets the power. And she only gets to use that power 2 or 3 times. And then you have to redraw the glyph. For her to draw the glyph, that's another waiting game. That's another 20, 30 seconds for her to draw the glyph. Unless there's only one other time that they let you have a glyph and it's on the floor, and then you have unlimited use of the power. But that's awkward in itself because none of Amy's powers are debilitating enough to just give you like a clean kill. Most of them take a lot of maneuvering. For example, her shockwave, there's an ability called shockwave, and it basically lets you let out this burst of energy that pushes things back. So to kill a zombie with that, you can either push them back or you have to push them into something for them to die. So basically to kill 6 zombies, you'd have to do that probably 6 times. Like to kill 6 zombies, you probably have to do that, use the ability like 30 times. Other than that, kind of has this weird retro-y PS2 feel. I think that's just because they couldn't put the money, I don't know whether it was budget, they couldn't put the money in to make good graphics. But the graphics aren't ugly or anything, they're nice, but it almost gives you a nostalgic feeling. I like that about it, actually. The voice acting is pretty awful because it's the most cliche dialogue that you could pull from basically any like Lifetime movie, other than the fact that it's like, you know, there's zombies walking around. Didn't like that, and it was not scary. They pretty much had like, I mean, if you weren't prepared for it, I guess you would jump a little bit if like steam popped out of a pipe, but it's basically like cheap thrills. I mean, you walk somewhere and something runs behind you in a mirror, but the zombies are so slow for the most part, except for in some of the later levels, that it really is not scary at all, not at all. Yeah, Lana screams, but you probably won't. I know that there are some people that might enjoy it if they just think like they don't care about story. The story sucked, by the way, just so I can say that. Didn't tell you enough, and they really make it seem like there may be a second game. I don't know if they're gonna do it, but we'll see. And the story was just awful. They didn't explain anything, like any of the reasoning why this stuff is happening. Another reason not to play the game. It wasn't rewarding enough, even in story, in gameplay, in anything. So yeah, didn't like it. I wouldn't recommend it. Even though it's $10, it's probably not worth it. Save yourself the aggravation and frustration. That's all. Until next time, see you later.